Hello, my name is Cheryl Herkey, and this is my channel. And so today is Friday, and I do have a couple of things to talk about before we go on to what we know is going to happen on Monday. Monday is Flag Day. Monday is the 45's birthday, and Monday is when the report for a certain state comes out. So it's going to be a great day. So I'm just finishing up this week. I wanted to let you know that I had some things I was thinking about due to an activity I had last night. I don't want to go to too much details about it, but this morning I walked in and my refrigerator had somebody dumped something in it, and I had to clean the refrigerator. And then I said to myself, gee, well, I'm already tearing things up. Let me just, mop the floors. And so I have a friend who has a website and she sells pine oil. And I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, every Saturday we would clean the entire house with pine sol. And so the house smelled like pine sol. And I just, for a moment now, as I'm sitting here having the nostalgia of having the smell of pine in my home. So now I'll just go on to this activity that I was going to talk about. So last night I am involved with a healing ministry through lmci.org. And the content of the healing, I think I'll keep private, but I want to let you know some of the things that we talked about, I talked about with my husband afterwards, that I think are valuable for us to know here in the Truthers movement. So just to keep it as concise as possible, people are sick or they have pain because of spiritual things. Either sin, transgression, or iniquity. Iniquity is the violations of God's laws in previous generations. And as we know in Leviticus, there is a verse that talks about sending the iniquity on to 4 generations. So you and I may or may not know, I'm sure most of us don't know, that the sins of our background of our family, but it was passed on because sin had taken place in the Old Testament, and someone had to pay the price, and that's why we had power and all the laws of God. And then we get to Jesus, who now became the Passover, and his blood that was shed cleansed our iniquity, and we can start afresh. But what happens is people don't know it, that iniquity is their previous generations' violations, and that they will have physical pain or illnesses that are really related to the previous generation's violations. So when a person who has pain or injury, we usually break it down to find out if it is generational or if it's something that may have happened, such as a trauma, rejection, a number of things that happens to a person that causes them to feel sick or have sickness. But when it comes to generational, then we know that we have a certain amount of things that we need to do to cleanse that, to apply that blood that was shed, to thank God for the healing of the person physically and to heal them up. And then, of course, to accept and expect the blessings of Abraham, which is the fullness of time that we have been waiting for. The fullness of time is to have the blessings as Christians. So that aside, one of the things that I thought of afterwards is that this person had gone to a certain denominational school. And in the background, when you go into those buildings, there's a lot of statues of Mary, a lot of statues of bloody Jesus. A lot of churches have this, but this particular one is, and it's been around for many, many generations. And the function of those generations were to have a front of being Christian, but in the basements of those buildings, they were worshiping Satan. And because they were worshiping Satan, they had sacrifices and ceremonies around the innocent. And this was going on for generations and generations. So we can see that we have a whole bunch of people who may have also been involved with free M's in the government, in their cities, in the police. They always took positions of power throughout our country. They built buildings to have their ceremonies. And now generations here, because of the consequence of that violation of God's law, going after the innocent, people are ill. So we are ministering to that. And I thought, and was kind of excited about it, that when we have the revealing of information, the Great Awakening, people will have to deal with their generational iniquity. And we have them in the top level of almost all of government, all of religion. And they run cities, they run states, this free, thousands of them, millions of them worldwide, that we will have to clean out their generational violations. And that is going to be an opportunity for us to clean out the world. We've had generations upon generations who've used innocence, worshipped Satan, and they were under the guise of being good, outstanding people in front of us. So it's clear now, if anybody who's paying attention, that we've been lied to, that the MK Ultra of our lives has caused us to think that that box over there in front of my living room always gives the truth. And I have to say, most of us have realized that we need to turn that box off. It gives its own frequency that we don't need anymore. And then I thought about why we allow this iniquity to continue. I think obviously people don't know that they have iniquity, and that their family don't know what their families did in previous generations. But also we have a television, we have the news media who tell us who we are, rather than letting us be the Christians that we are. Now, many people have said to me, "Gee, Cheryl, you're kind of blending religion and politics, aren't you? When you talk about God and then you talk about the cabal." And I say they're the same. This is a spiritual fight. Once you know that this is about the children, and that this is what they've been after all along, it's a spiritual war. And we have won. Folks, we have won. And I want to let you know we've won, because I've been listening to things in the last few weeks. The tide has turned. We are the news now. We are the people getting information to the people, not the box. And also, I was listening to Robert David Steele, very telling. He was saying that at his patriot meetings all over the country, that there are no protesters, the ones that we think are all over. And why do we think they're all over? Is because the media says that we are divided by our races. We're divided by our colors. People are mad. They're hitting each other, beating up each other. And I would propose to you that all this is CGI, which is computer generated images. And I would ask anybody who's listening, have you actually seen President B? And have you actually seen Vice President H? But lots of people have seen 45. It's been seen all over the news. So we are watching a movie. We're literally watching a CGI movie. And the end, we win. So knowing what's going on is good for us. It's actually humorous. The things that they say he says is actually insanity. My son watches he does this for me. He watches the TikTok, and he comes and tells me the insane things that are being said in the name of presidential ways. And I just want to laugh because it actually cannot be what we're seeing on television. It's too ridiculous. So I just hope this encourages you. Today, when you go out and hug someone, take that mask off and realize we are winning, that this war is spiritual and we can call a spade a spade. And then we should have some fun with it because I think it's funny now. And I'm just waiting for the end, and I know it's imminent because the 14th is my president's birthday, number 45. Have a great Friday. Love you bunches.